Well, we showed you some people dipping into the water of the mall there in Washington, D.C., between the Washington Monument.
You know, the last time I saw someone doing this, Judy, was when there was... Look at this.
Now, there must be some music. Can we hear the music that they're dancing to?
Maybe it's internal music.
It could very well be. You know...
The last time I saw someone dancing and standing in this reflecting pool before the steps of the Lincoln Memorial was when Stevie Wonder was singing at a tribute, the 20th anniversary of the Martin Luther King address from the memorial, the I Have a Dream speech during the March on Washington. And people were literally dancing, doing what these two young women were just doing, dancing in the reflecting pool.
You know, that Washington Monument, people may say, well, gee, when are they going to finish all the construction work on it? But when you light up the scaffolding around it, it is something to behold.
Now, the spirits are very high everywhere as the millennium comes to the various time zones in the United States, in Central America, and Canada, and South America. And as our correspondents have indicated, everyone is in a good mood. No problems to report.
All right, you'd think that from these pictures in Washington and New York that it was all over but the shouting in the United States of America, but we're going to take you to a big city in the Midwest, Chicago. We don't know what they're doing in any pools in Chicago, but Jeff Flock, you're going to bring us up to date. They are having a very special celebration here.
So
well, that camera, Judy and Bernie, that you see out there is out by the lakefront, but you'd have to be pretty crazy to get in the water tonight, even though it's fairly warm by Chicago standards. Inside here, the McCormick Place Convention Center, however, considerably warmer, and they are dancing it away. The Chicago 2000 International Millennium Celebration is on in full swing. Outside, there will be big-time fireworks in about a half an hour, and inside, you know, you spent a lot of money and time at CNN today talking to people all around the world. Well, the fact is, all you had to do was come to Chicago, because it's a veritable United Nations of people that have been brought here, two people from each country in the known world. And I have a group of them with me, and I'd like to first just ask you, what is your name and where are you from?
My name is Berit Kristoffersen. I came from Norway.
And you, sir?
Hans, I'm from Norway.
Hi, I'm Craig from Scotland.
Adenike Badejo from Nigeria.
I'm doing a better job from Nigeria.
Asdin Nekmouche from Morocco, Casablanca.
How has it been in Chicago? How's this experience been?
Wonderful, and it's a first experience that we hope that it will be every year like this in all over the world, because it's a message of peace that the world have to keep every year in mind and to repeat it for not forgiving it.
I must ask you if you're surprised that there haven't been any Y2K computer problems.
Yes, it has been a surprise that there was no problem with the Y2K compliances. And for one thing, Chicago is a country that has gone so well in computer and understands the technology of the new computer. So I am not surprised at all.
I must ask Krieg from Scotland, and a while ago we saw some people in the mall in Washington, D.C. wading in the water. Billy, I'll ask you to show Krieg is wearing a native dress. Have you been bothered by the weather in Chicago?
No, it's been quite warm, fortunately, so it hasn't been a problem.
I must ask you, folks from Norway, finally, before we get away, what has been the best part of this experience of bringing virtually the entire world together?
Oh, I've been meeting all these different people, and to meet all these itself is a wonderful experience. And to meet the people of Chicago, too, has been very nice.
Thank you. We appreciate you folks. A Noah's Ark here in Chicago tonight, and of course, we're not even close yet. We still have a good half hour away, and all I can say is we wasted a lot of money at CNN today going all around the world. All you had to do was come here to Chicago. Bernie, Judy.
Jeff Flock, thanks so very much. Well, we're not going to waste any time. Let's call in Lou Waters. He's in the Big Easy. Lou.
Yes, I am, Bernie, and I've been looking at all those pictures of the masses of humanity in Washington and New York. I heard Mayor Giuliani talk about spread out in a mile in all directions from Times Square. Take a look at Bourbon Street tonight. We're talking about 76, 78 square blocks packed in like sardines down there. But unlike the rowdy and gaudy Mardi Gras, you'll even see a few tuxedos and evening gowns associated with this Millennium celebration here in the Big Easy. Although they're crowded in and there are many tens of thousands of people, perhaps hundreds of thousands, it's not as big as Mardi Gras, the police tell me. Hotels are about 80–90% booked. They're 100% booked for Mardi Gras. It is a big party. All police are off their days off and vacations through next Wednesday, because after this party comes the Sugar Bowl at the Superdome on Tuesday. Back-to-back parties to start out the new year. We are moved down here on the edge of the Mississippi River, where it's getting a little cool now, fog rolling in. It's been very warm days. It's a gentle evening, but there's a slight chill in the air now as we await in the next 25 minutes or so for them to light the candle on the barges out here in the middle of the Mississippi River and shoot the massive fireworks display over Jackson Square and over the Riverwalk here, where some of those sardines have managed to squeeze out of Bourbon Street, and they're joining us down here now for the big show. Bernie, Judy.
All right, Blue Waters, that's something definitely we would look forward to. 78 square blocks. You know, I know the folks in New York are proud of what they've got. And look, here's Washington. We're back on the mall in Washington. It looks like a lot of people are getting into the water there in the reflecting pool. We leave you with that picture as the clock says we are just 25 minutes away from midnight in the central time zone of the United States, parts of Canada, parts of South America. There's been a big celebration in New York City, especially one at Times Square, but a very personal thing has happened between two people there. Our own Gary Tuckman. I don't want to spill the beans completely, Gary.
Well, Judy, Times Square is empty now, but there are a lot of stories in the big city. Great story happened tonight as we entered the new millennium. This couple right over here, this couple, these two stand next to me from Ohio. This gentleman proposed to this lady, and you said...
I said yes.
And show me what you have on your finger.
I have a beautiful engagement ring. Beautiful, I love it.
Now tell me the story. Was there any doubt she would say yes to you?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried coming up here, but the clock ticked down, and luck was on my side. She said yes. It's the best New Year's I've ever had in my life.
So tell me exactly when you proposed to her. Was it before or after the millennium began?
I waited till the end of the countdown, and once the fireworks went off and we could hear voices again, I proposed to her, and she said yes.
So it wasn't the year 2000?
No, yes, it wasn't.
You gotta know that, what year you proposed to her. So when are you gonna get married?
I don't know. I don't know. I just found out about it now.
Okay, well, we're glad you said yes. A lot of people are having a good time here in Times Square, especially this couple, as they celebrate the new millennium in a very nice way. Bernie and Judy, back to you.
Gary, what are their names? You going to tell us?
I think he's going away from us.
Folks, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
You know what? One question I didn't ask you guys, a very important one. So everyone in the world who's watching right now knows your names. What are your names?
Suzanne Hall.
And your name?
Jay Erickson.
Very nice meeting you. Good luck to both of you. Bernie and Judy, back to you.
And quickly to Texas. Candy Crowley is in Texas, and Candy, there's love in the air.
Yes, there is. I can't come up with a couple about to be married. However, we have run several times into a young married woman who is very pregnant, says she's about to give birth any day, and she has written Baby 2000 across her belly, which she's shown us several times. We are here in Granbury, Texas. What you're looking at is the courthouse, which really is the centrifugal force of this town, around which all of the New Year's Eve activities have gathered. Right now, they're listening to the tones of Larry Joe Taylor, a Texas-bred country western singer. He is the one that is going to lead the countdown to New Year's here in this small town of about 6,000. There's 2,000 to 3,000 here in the town square. Various activities, you know, painters, palm readers, sort of a mix of a kind of a circus and a New Year's Eve, a family time. Children, they just got finished doing the conga to one of the songs here. Right now, what they're waiting for is what people in every city city we've seen so far in the last 22, 23 hours are waiting for, and that is for the strike of midnight, when they will listen to the bell peal off the top of this courthouse. This bell was constructed by the same firm that did Big Ben. It is something they're very proud of. They will also tell you that it has rung in 1 century before this, so this is the 2nd century for this town of Granbury, which really is sort of become a historic restoration and has moved from an agricultural community, and then in the 60s began its restoration, and now is a big tourist attraction. And so they have thrown this New Year's Eve party and calling it Back to the Future, because indeed this town found its future in its past by reconstructing all of these buildings, some of them from the late 1900s into the late 1800s into the 20th century. So they are prepared here. We have less than a half hour to go. Children ranging from babies up to elderly couples have been in the town square, and they're just waiting, like everyone else has across the world, for the midnight to strike. Bernie and Judy?
Candy, I listen very closely to you always, and earlier in one of your reports you said the town square is the epicenter there?
It is. I mean, the town square is sort of what they have built up around. The town is obviously bigger than this, but this is where sort of the centrifugal force, really. The town's main shops are around here, mostly antiques, souvenirs, that kind of thing. I have to tell you, there's a lot of folklore that they pass along to the tourists that come here. Also, this will give you an idea of what sort of town it is. 26 bed and breakfasts are here. So people across Texas. We were at bed and breakfast this morning, and we're with 2 couples who were celebrating their anniversary. So this draws them in from all around Texas, and they were hoping that some would come from outside this town, and indeed they appear to have come from all over Texas here to help celebrate in Granbury.
And Candy, picking up on your point about the lady with baby 2000 or words to that effect written across her belly, courtesy of the Reuters wire service, 2 twin boys born in Berlin, Germany, this night. One born in 1 millennium, the 2nd millennium, the other one born 5 minutes later in the 3rd millennium.
And wherever you're watching and listening.
They win.
And to you, our viewers, wherever you're watching and listening, our worldwide coverage. As we get ready to pause for a moment, look at this. Sunrise over Beijing. Sunrise over Beijing. Sunrise over Beijing, now over the Great Wall, and this is Tiananmen Square.